Welcome to Taking Care of Business on News Talk 1180 KERN for the best in Saturday Talk Radio at 1 o'clock and on 1230 KGEO at 10 o'clock Saturday, and for the best in Wednesday Talk Radio on 1410 KERI, the Christian station. We're now on 1000 KKIM in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and also on the internet on knookmedium.com, serving Richmond, Oakland, and the San Francisco Bay Area. Your host is Clay Koerner, and I'm Marty Pay, and our producer is Greg Held. Hey, Clay, that was a great show last week on your favorite subject, Obamacare, with Dr. Wagasback and Dr. Kawa.
Interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like this doctor. Well, both of them were great, but Dr. Kawa's got that interesting lawsuit against the federal government.
Yes, and Wagasback doesn't take any Medi-Cal patients anymore, and the majority of the people in California are now moving towards Medi-Cal.
What's that tell you?
It tells us we're in deep trouble.
Yeah. That one doctor, though, it's interesting, he's suing the federal government for not implementing the provisions.
Failure to implement.
Yeah, so he's doing it backdoor, but it's going to have the same result. So it'll be interesting to see how that lawsuit works as it works its way through the system. So I wanted to spend a minute talking about some of our guests next month. We're going to start out the month with Jason Redman. Many of you are familiar with him. He's a SEAL team leader who wrote a great new book called Trident. He worked with Marcus Luttrell. In fact, I think he was one of his trainers. So we've got him.
He's probably going to be forced to change his name because it's Redman.
I like that. Not politically correct, huh? And then we're going to end the month with former Reagan budget director David Stockman, who wrote a great new book called The Great Deformation. So that's going to be a fun interview. But in the first three segments today, we're chatting with two of our favorite guests, Mark and Cathy Abernathy from the Western Pacific Research Institute, and we're going to be talking about politics in California and nationally. Mark, Cathy, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Well, hi, you guys.
Hi, I'm Marty. Hi, Clay.
So, got to get close to that thing, Mark.
Hi, Marty.
At our age, it's good to be anywhere.
What's with this age thing again today?
Good to be seen.
Yeah.
Are you having a hard time with your age again this morning?
Oh, my God, yes. Age, weight.
Now, did you take your pills this morning?
Yeah, I did. I'm staying awake.
Okay, you'll be awake the whole show.
Right.
Okay, good.
Now, Cathy works with the state government a little bit, I believe. You work with Shannon Grove?
Part-time with Assemblywoman Shannon Grove, and like I proud to say, I basically hold her coat and let her go. She's a fighter.
Isn't she great?
Shannon Grove just won't take any of this stuff lying down. She stands up to those legislators, and sometimes both parties, because you get up there and a lot of them get up there and they drink the Kool-Aid.
Well, it's funny. We've joked with her before about that office she has in the corner. That's kind of a badge of honor, having that office where you've ticked off everybody, so they put you kind of out of the way.
She's got a great, larger than she had. It's it's in the old part of the Capitol, which is nice too, a classier place. But she doesn't really care about any of that, because she knows the people at home agree with her, and the system up there is just designed for themselves. It's not designed for the people.
Yeah. Well, George Renner and I had a radio show years ago, and Sharon had that office. His wife was an Assemblywoman. Yeah, she had that office when she did the same thing, irritated some of the powers to be up there, so she ended up with that office in the corner. So,
speaking of California, I understand there's a movement afoot again for several counties in Northern California, Jefferson, to become a state called Jefferson. Are you familiar with that?
Well, I heard they wanted to split the state up 5 ways.
5 ways?
6 ways.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the idea of Draper. He's a high-tech millionaire in San Francisco, and he always dabbling his fingers in politics, and he has thought, let's split the state 6 ways. And so he's got it out there. That's, I'm sure, not going to go anywhere.
It's too bad.
Yeah, but I'm wondering why 6. But one way I could see, look at the average population of the 50 states, and if you split California 6 ways, it would make 6 states that had about the average population of the average state. So from that standpoint, okay, it would make sense. For California, I am a proponent of splitting California. I think it should be split 3 ways. Even 2 ways would be fine, but 3 ways I think would be ideal.
If you say 3 ways, Mark, what do you mean? Where would you split it?
Well, some might argue with if this is a good idea, but I would split San Francisco, maybe Marin, Alameda, maybe San Mateo. 1, 2, 3, 4 counties. I would split those off, Bay Area counties. And then Los Angeles, maybe just split Los Angeles off as a state. And then the rest of the state would be California.
Well, you'd have 2 Democratic states and 1 Republican state. One conservative state, relatively conservative, and 2 definitely liberal states.
Oh, I can see North and South California and then Central California.
Well, you split it off the way Mark's talking, San Francisco, Bay Area, L.A., they totally depend on the rest of us.
Yeah.
So you know what? We'll have set up trade deals. Whether we're going to sell to them after they cut off our water.
San Francisco has our 2 state U.S. senators, San Francisco, and when Democrats have control in the House, the Speaker Pelosi. So we got 3 San Francisco ladies there that are pretty much our rulers, and you got Jerry Brown from Oakland. And so what we get is we have, in the rest of the state, we have rulers in San Francisco. The rest of us work, produce the money and the bounty and the wealth of California, and give it to our rulers in San Francisco.
I like the way that sounds. That's about right. It's funny. I have a daughter who's as liberal as I am conservative. She's a teacher up in the Bay Area, and Nancy Pelosi is her representative. And we don't discuss politics. But the other day I couldn't resist it. I just had to ask her. I said, "What do you think about Nancy Pelosi now?" And she goes, "We don't even like her up here."
Wow.
So it speaks volumes.
That's incredible. So what's going on in the state, Cathy, that's of interest to us?
Well, the governor called this drought emergency and traipses around the state, holds press conference, and everybody writes about us, oh, great, we've got this drought emergency so we can get some federal and state funds and we can get loans because our, whoever, the farmers or whatever, are losing their shirt. Where is the condemnation of the fact that this is not God's fault about rain? He sent plenty here. The last 25 years, what have we done to store the water that we let run out into the ocean? What have we done about stopping this ridiculous Delta smelt having priority over humans and every other animal that we would like to feed with the water? So it should have been an indictment on Jerry Brown that you're governor of a 35 million population state with money up the wazoo, really, and you haven't done a thing to store water and to help in dams and all the things that you should do if you want your water so badly. And instead, we go into another government-subsidized program. Oh, we have a problem, let's turn to the government. Well, this government caused a problem. It's not a rain problem. It's a politician's problem. And I didn't see anybody in the media challenge back to him as to what are you doing by just saying, oh, it's a drought. It's like shouting fire in a theater. Why don't you do something about it? So I think that's a huge issue, that this state lets these politicians run us into problems. Disaster, emergency, they get the big press, I'm calling an emergency, and nobody calls them on the carpet for it's your fault. It's not that the federal government should bail you out.
Sure.
Well, we had your Republican leader, Boehner, was out here the other day.
He was. I was there with him,
And what did he bring to the table?
Well, the Republican House has proposals, and they've put them up for years, and the Democrat Senate and now this president won't support it. And that would be on a federal level. But we still have the problem in California that the California legislature is in the way on virtually anything that produces water for agriculture. They, as I've probably said here before, they see agriculture often as, Albertsons and Vons. They don't appreciate what it takes to get a piece of food out of the ground and into those supermarkets.
It's amazing when you think about some of these college students that don't understand agriculture. They figure they can go to the market and buy whatever they need.
Exactly. I've got my story on that one, and I think I've shared it. Maybe I won't. No, I was in a debate with a UCLA student. You're supposed to have decent grades to get into UCLA, right? Supposedly. And so she and I were arguing. It was when Chavez was pushing unionization of farm workers, and I said, if he drives up the costs enough, the farmers are going to mechanize, then there won't be jobs for the farm workers. She says, that's okay. I'll show them. I'm not going to buy the fresh produce. I'm going to buy the food in a can. That's a graduate of public education in California and attending the UCLA,
or as we call them, victim of public education.
Victim. Now, you went to UCLA, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah. When they were teaching.
I had a communist teacher I walked out of. So
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Angela
what they
Davis.
were teaching Angela Davis.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
just one.
That's the only one I was foolish enough to sign up for. I saw the name Davis. I guess I didn't think it was.
Yeah. When we come back from the break, let's talk a little bit about some of the elections coming up. We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.